We'll call a meeting to order this evening. Please rise for a pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the roll call show that all board members present with the exception of Rick Schultz. And we have an agenda in front of us. This might not be any additions. With that, I take a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Second. Motion made by Mr. Mueller, approved by Mr. Shamrock. To approve the agenda as permitted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Any public comments this evening?
No, there was none.
Okay, and then we will just roll right into the superintendent's report.
Yeah, I'll start with just a few bits of information. The milk and bread bids, that a notice has been placed out. We'll act on that, or you'll act on that at our June meeting. The same with our snow removal, that is posted. The request for quotes or bids, and again, that will be acted upon in our June meeting. The Minnesota South Central Co-op, which we're part of for our food service bids and food provider, run through Waseca School generally. They've accepted the bid and accepted Indian Head once again to be our provider on that. So that's not anything that needs action, that's just to make sure that you're aware that we're continuing on with that co-op and with Indian Head Company. Quickly, Rich has indicated he would help with graduation. Lauren as well had indicated. Was there anyone else interested in being part of the ceremony? Or okay. If things come up and you want to join the list, let me know. But we have at least 2 on board, so I appreciate that. Quickly on the budget, everything obviously is still on a standstill, a big divide between the 2 different houses within our state level, and so we're just the clock is ticking. We'll see what happens and what transpires here. I think officially it ends this week, Friday, but we'll see where that takes us. Negotiations, we are meeting with our ASME group the 25th. And for those that are on the committee, just a reminder that we'll meet on the 25th at 5:30. As far as school board committee goes, nothing will be scheduled for June and July. We'll look at negotiations. Obviously, could fall in and continue on into the summer, but our other committees, there's buildings and grounds. I would like to meet one time here once the busy spring gets over and just review some financial information that we received and some kind of updates from SiteLogic and some things that we can consider moving forward. But as far as regular scheduled committee meetings, we'll meet as needed, but we won't have anything tentatively scheduled through June and July and probably August as well. Before I introduce our other admins for their presentation, again, just a reminder that the principals and the admin team with Mara and Macy aren't required, or I don't ask them to necessarily come in the summer months as well. So this would be the last chance to ask questions of them as we wrap up the school year, and if we do need them in the summer months, we can obviously request that they come in and share some information. But this would be the last meeting that they'd be part of. Mr. Jurens was in his office. I'm not sure if he's coming down or not. Oh, there you are. I can see you in the front there. So with Mr. Jurens moving on to the Faribault District, thank you for your year of service here and being part of the board meetings, and good luck to you and your new district. Yeah. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the admin team, unless there's questions on those ramblings of information.
So I believe I'm up first. Yep. As we wrapped up testing season here at the elementary, not a lot of happenings going on in April, but definitely, as you'll see in May and to wrap up, and doing a lot of things going on. But as usual, I linked our May newsletter there. Lots of information is always in the monthly newsletter. A list of the PTO donations. One of the big ones was the Prairie Fire, the Peter Pan performance that was put on, between Prairie Fire coming in and hosting it, their lodging, meals and all that. It was upwards of $3,200. So thank you for the PTO for that, and providing that opportunity for our students. And then to notice Kona Ice, we just had Kona Ice as a part of our big day last Friday. We had seniors over here most of the day for Senior Service Day, and then they came back in the afternoon for our Panther Pride celebration. But we had Kona Ice, and they will bill us out once they figure out how many people they served, and then there's always a kickback to the school. So Katie said she'd let me know that number in a couple of weeks. So I mentioned MCAs, just want to acknowledge Mara and Melissa for their work on that. And then we had last week was a big week. Friday was our Senior Service Day and fourth quarter Panther Pride celebration. Tuesday, May 10th, we did our community open house in conjunction with our spring concert. Had a great turnout. The entire hallway here was filled with all kinds of student work, so that was a lot of fun. If you get a chance to check out the playground, we've got a new piece of equipment out there. Wendy Schultz worked with Finley's Wings to secure funding for a Gaga ball pit. And so for those of you that aren't aware what Gaga ball is, it's basically kind of like a version of dodgeball, but all of the students go in, not all of them, groups of students, preferably 20 or less, go into the pit at one time, and we just use a kickball, and you take your hand and you try to hit it at other players. If it hits them in the knee or below, that player is out. If the person hitting the ball, it goes out of the pit, they're out. So it's just a process of elimination, and the kids do a nice job of kind of self-monitoring, but a really, really fun game, and with the nice weather we've been having, it's been getting a lot of use. But thank you to Wendy for her work, and for Finley's Wings for the donation. And then lastly, I mentioned, not a ton of happenings in April, but the last slide, I just took all of the different things we have on our calendar here at the elementary, and I plugged them in. So between May 4th and June 3rd, lots of different things going on. End of the year field trips, track and field days, and so kindergarten graduation. So just a lot of happenings going on. Been trying to keep it all straight on the schedule, and so finally just decided to type it up, and so I put it in there for you to see what's going on. Obviously anything that's going on here in the building, you're always welcome to come and see. The track and field will be over at New Ridgeland. But yeah, just people are excited to take part in all these events and wrap up the school year. Any questions?
All right, I'm up. Lots of things going on right now at the secondary. Super congratulations, and I think there she is, Miss De La Cruz, and the crew of students that represented us at the Stars of the Future event, and that was in Coon Rapids, and they represented us well. So a really, really neat deal there. Mrs. Wigman did an awesome job of, I think she wrote the one grant that we had already discussed or seen for the modules, the learning modules. She also just wrote one, and we just got 12 laptops. And so outstanding job finding resources outside of our normal budget, but 12, you can imagine 12 laptops.
And there's 2 bonus on top of that, so it's 14.
Correct, I forgot about that. Yeah, there's 2 bonus. So that was outstanding, so congratulations to her. All right, you can scroll down just a little bit. You might have seen at the open house, the hospitality and tourism class did some of the music posters, and they were judged, and so
That was good to have that. That's a community event, and so I know Mrs. Wigman worked with Karen Krause with that piece, so very, very neat. Go ahead and scroll up. The 6th graders, hey, they went up to the state capitol and the Science Museum. They didn't get to do as much as they have in the past at the state capitol. Something about times weren't quite right, but anyway, they got to go on a field trip. The play was this past weekend, and Mrs. Bentley's here tonight. Just an outstanding job by not only Mrs. Bentley, but the kids. Just it was really fun to watch them do that. And so congratulations to them. Mr. Jerns had mentioned the Senior Service Day, and from what I understand, it was very successful again. And as the seniors came back in the building, of course I'm quizzing them and talking to them and asking them all what they did, and they all had from what I could tell, a great time. So congratulations to those folks. We had our plant sale, and you can see it brought in about $2,600. So that is very good news. The Ag Day field trip was really a neat adventure for the 7th and 8th graders. And so again, Miss De La Cruz went along on that and held rodeo all the 7th and 8th graders, but by the looks of the photos and things, they had a great time. So very cool event. You've seen the mural. We had that, and congratulations, Mrs. Gale. That thing is awesome. That is the only thing I can say. Is it just is very, very cool. It was neat to watch the kids as they were watching Greg as he was painting, and they would ask questions, and then he would instruct, and just fantastic addition. And one little sports piece, Andrew Phillips hit a grand slam dinger, so that's fun. And I just came from softball, and we were ahead. I don't 5-2. Yeah, it was like 3-0 when I was. So, any questions for me?
Thank you. Macy?
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a quick update. I can't see that far away. For Community Ed, just to give you kind of a recap of our early childhood screening numbers, we had 62 total kids that we screened this year. So that's back up to about normal. We were a lot less during COVID and all the different time restrictions, the amount of time we had to have in between. But we ended up screening 62. We ended up with 22 3-year-olds, 34 4-year-olds, and 6 5-year-olds. As you can see, I just kind of broke it down between what we get per child when we do screen. The ideal time to screen is 3.5 years old. So I've got a little bit of work there trying to recruit a few more kids to make sure that we're able to get all those kids in, hopefully before they turn 4. The 5-year-olds that you see up there too were, some of them were the result from either moving in late or just not getting screened until they were right about to start kindergarten. So otherwise with preschool news, we had our open house. At our open house, we had a pretty decent turnout. We had about 40 kids total registered those 2 nights that we had. And it's kind of sad. On Saturday, we were supposed to take our group of New Richland preschoolers down to the care center. And there was a resident there that ended up getting COVID. So we had to switch our plans around real quick, and we ended up having it in the lower commons of the secondary school. Had a great turnout. The kids all sang beautifully for that instead, and had a little brunch with them for kind of a celebration as a backup plan for not being able to be at the care center. The the main reason why we wanted to have our preschoolers go to the care center was because the 4-year-olds were pen pals with some of the residents there. So it was kind of meet your pen pals, sing a little bit, do a little graduation song, and they received some preschool certificates. Otherwise, let's see. Right now our preschool numbers are looking pretty decent. We have a total of 55 kids registered for preschool right now. In Ellendale, we have 1 spot open for our 3-year-olds and 1 spot open for our 4-year-olds yet. If we continue to get registrations over the summer, we'll have to get creative with space to try to make sure that all of our kids get in. By state statute, we're allowed up to 20 kids in preschool class. We try to kind of cap it off around that 16 child range, just because 16 kids in a preschool classroom, that's a lot. So we do have a little bit of wiggle room, but we would definitely get all those kids in that need preschool for sure. And we have our 4-star parent-aware rating again. That's good through April 2024. And we did switch over to the TS Gold assessment for this school year. It's been working beautifully, and being able to just plug into the laptop and actually see all the different assessment scores has worked really well. So we're going to continue to go ahead and use that in our CRAT assessment. We are still doing the CRAT assessment, but it's switched over to the ESGI, the online assessment, so it's easier for our kindergarten teachers to actually go in and look at the data. So when those kids are coming into kindergarten, instead of taking the paper version of everything that we've done, we do it on the computer so everybody has access to it that needs it. Otherwise, our youth and adult recreation, we have 115 kids registered for T-ball and coach pitch. It ended up being 6 T-ball teams, 4 coach pitch teams, so that's right back up to normal now. Flag football is mid-July to mid-August. We have, I've decided to split the 2 groups, so the first 4 sessions, or first 4 classes we're having in New Richland. The last 4 we're having in Ellendale to try to break up the driving for the parents. And otherwise, our cheerleading camps running here as they did last year. We have basketball camps coming up, weightlifting, and power hour. And now I'm going to talk to you guys about school age care. So do you want to click on the presentation link for me? So for our school age care program, go back one slide there. As you guys know, and I've reminded you time and time again, back in July 2019, I came and gave you guys a presentation as to why implementing a school age care program was a smart decision for community ed and our school district, and we were approved for Bridges through 5th grade program, and our 4 and 5-year-old wraparound daycare program were also improved. Let me back up a little bit here. This is Rachel Powell. She's our school age care supervisor. So as the school age care program has started to take off a little bit, I've tried to step back a little bit in my role. Because that is what I hired Rachel to do, and she's been doing a fabulous job. So in so we were approved 2019. That upcoming school year, then we actually doing really good. We had 46 total children register, and that summer we had 21 kids. But this is also when COVID hit, so that summer was very interesting to navigate around. And then fiscal year 2021, we ended up with 29 children through our Bridges through 5th grade program. And that summer, we ended up having 37 children. Now, that first school year and summer that we started, we weren't able to start a preschool program because of the late implementation of the preschool wraparound program. Most parents had already made plans by then. It was the timing was just off. So we had tried, I had tried during our open houses and orientations to get parents on board for it. Everybody else already had plans, so we just kind of nixed a program for that school year. And then for the following school year, that's when COVID hit. Space was limited. We just decided to not go ahead and do anything with our preschool age children. So then now this school year, we finally got it to run. We had a really good turnout.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about some of the numbers?
Yeah, so like as far as our preschool wraparound program, We have currently right now around 17 kids that are there all day or half days. And so they can come to us and or preschool, depending on what shifts that what they're scheduled for preschool. Currently right now for bridges through 5th grade in New Richland, we have around 11 kids that are enrolled in the before and after. And here in Ellendale, we have 12. So it can range. A lot of parents are utilizing it. It's awesome. It's good to see. They're very happy with it as well. We have had high enrollments for our non-school days, which has kept us going all day. We haven't had to turn down one day of non-school days for these parents.
Whereas the following 2 years when we first started the school age care program, we didn't work, we weren't open any of the school days because the parents, our parents just weren't signing their kids up, and we just didn't have enough kids to register for those non-school days in order to open it up, and this year it just, everything changed.
Yeah, we range from anywhere from 14 all the way up as high as 27 kids that get signed up for our non-school days, and that's including our preschool children that are there all day then too. So, and our bridges through 5th grade. So we end up utilizing 2 classrooms, and the kids have fun, and we do fun activities with all of them.
And as you can see here too, our bridges through 5th grade, we have 31 kids registered, and we also have an additional 21 children registered for our preschool program as well. And right now we have 27 currently registered. We keep getting registration packets in, so that number has probably gone up a little bit so far. But 21 kids for preschool, that really says a lot. Do you want to do the next slide? All right, so just to recap, I know I've talked about all this before. So what's the need that the school age care program has fulfilled? Well, we have increased the amount of daycare opportunities offered to those kids who are without care, especially without backup care in our area. You know, some parents were like, oh, you know, we really like the daycare that we're currently at. You know, is there a possibility that we can use you guys for backup care if, you know, our daycare provider was on vacation or if they happen to be sick? Our answer is absolutely, that's what we're here. You know, that's what we're here for. Yes, sign your kids up, use us as backup care so, you know, you can still go to work and your children can still go to preschool.
Yeah, we have many parents that utilize that option. Whether their daycare's sick or, like she said, on vacation, they'll just call or email me and, yeah, sure, we can get you in, no problem. And then we get to drop them off for the time frame that they're needed for their work shift for that day. Yeah, they have easy access to just call us and, or sometimes they just drop off. Yeah. So, and we're there. So, I mean, and that works out great for them because we have staff all day in the New Richland building.
Yeah, and the nice thing is our parents are comfortable enough with us that they know that that is an option. Most of them, you know, they'll message me on Facebook. Sometimes they'll, you know, email last minute, or they just show up, which is absolutely fine. That's what we're here for. We're providing a service. Other than that, we try to help ease transportation difficulties with our Panther Preschool program because we don't have busing. Some parents have flat out told me that they can't sign their kids up for preschool because they have nowhere of getting them there or taking them back. Some families come in that are brand new to our district. They are not comfortable having other people carpool their kids. So, you know, that's an obvious option for them. This past school year, we actually took a wonderful little preschooler that, you know, she had always gone down to the Albert Lee School District to their preschool program, to their daycare that they have down there. And when she found out that we actually had a wraparound preschool program running this year, it wasn't even a thought. I mean, she switched over right away. So that's always really nice to hear. School age care has increased revenue for community education. We have increased utilization of our school buildings year-round. And as Rachel had said too, you know, where before in the past years we typically weren't open on non-school days. Now we're open all the time, Monday through Friday, it's going to be 6:45 in the morning till 5:45 in the afternoon. non-school days all summer long. There's always something going on. And then we're helping to increase the overall student enrollment by providing families access to convenient, full-time, part-time drop-in daycare who may otherwise bring their children to an out-of-district daycare program. I am trying to stop families from getting into a routine of bringing their children with them to work if they work outside of our district in order to have our school-age care program kind of be a one-stop shop for them. So like I said, so they don't get into the routine of bringing their kids with them to work, to Owatonna, Waseca, Albert Lee, wherever it may be, where they have preschool wraparound programs. So hopefully,
Or
our
even
intention
daycare
is-
in that area where they can get bused to and from.
Yeah, so our intentions there is to get these parents, these young families into our district and staying with us to help increase the amount of kindergarten enrollment that we have. And then by offering preschool age children up to a full day's educational experience and social emotional experience with peers throughout the year that supports their transitions into kindergarten. And I think as anything has taught us this year, that social emotional piece and that full day experience speak wonders. Currently this school year that we're in right now, we have, of the kindergartners that we have, 44% of them attended some type of Panther preschool, whereas in the past fiscal year, it's been anywhere from 75 to 88. This year was 44. This incoming kindergarten class that we have this fall should be about 71%. We want to make sure that these kids have that background before they get into kindergarten. Okay, so, yeah, if you want to.
Okay. So one of the things with the wraparound program, we're also working with the preschool teachers and their curriculum, having themed craft days, stuff like that. We're also doing the lunch, line up, get our lunch, sit down, have social skills at a table, eating properly and nice or whatever, so we're not showing our food. And one of the things we're working on is opening our milk, opening some of the containers that they'll need to learn as kindergartners. And so I find it amazing they get it so far and then, good job. So then we help finish the rest of it. So like we do a lot of, so we call that as like social emotional. We also do like a rest time. Read a book. Obviously they say they can't read a book. Well, then read the pictures. So we're teaching them kind of to settle down themselves and just kind of sit by themselves for a minute and then for a short while, and then we go to independent play for a little bit, just so they can just kind of have a downtime and rest. Then it's, we do like, we have our little areas where they can play together, build things together, go outside. So we're learning a lot of things, how to walk in line and things that they're gonna need to know in kindergarten. And we try to keep it somewhat structured for them, and they enjoy it, they have fun with it, so.
All right, so what are the needs that still need to be addressed? Basically, all the needs I just listed that are currently being met with our 4 and 5-year-olds, those also need to get met with our 3-year-old group now. So it's always been our goal for the world's best workforce to increase student attendance in our Panther preschool program. So if we're able to extend the service to our 3-year-old kids, we're hoping that increases the amount of children that we have in our 3-year-old program, which would ultimately increase the amount of kids we have in our 4-year-old program. Again, just to help ease transportation difficulties with our preschool 3-year-old program. We had some, we thought really far outside the box this school year to try to get some of our 3-year-olds in our program, and it worked. But it would be so much easier if we were just able to provide a wraparound program. Offering additional daycare opportunities for those 3-year-olds that are without care in our program, to increase the revenue potential for community ed again, and then increase the probability that a wraparound program will continue to operate in the future, because this program operates based on meeting minimum enrollment numbers in order to remain fiscally responsible. So if we are not able to keep boosting the amount of kids that we have in our wraparound program, we may not be able to have it in the future, and it breaks my heart, but like I said, we need to remain fiscally responsible. So right now, what it's kind of looking like is we only have 2 or 3 parents that have asked, from our 3-year-old group, that have asked us if we would be able to extend the daycare opportunity to our school age care wraparound program. And then I did have 2 last year that had asked, which is why Carla helped me get really creative with transportation for the 1 3-year-old. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been in preschool at all. I kind of took yours, sorry. All right, so just to keep moving forward here. So we are currently approved for a 4 and 5-year-old wraparound daycare program. We're requesting board approval to allow our district's 3-year-old Panther preschool students' families to enroll their children in our school age care program if desired. So according to Minnesota rules, Rule 3, we are able to, because we are a child care center, to provide care for preschool age children 33 months to kindergarten at a 1-to-10 ratio with max group size of 20. Even though those are the rules, that's not what I'm asking for. I am just asking that our current 3-year-olds that are enrolled in Panther preschool that their families be able to utilize our school age care program. So I want to extend the age range of our school age care wraparound program to allow the families of students who are 3 years old and enrolled in Panther preschool the opportunity to register for SAC if desired. Are there any questions?
So that is on our agenda item 2, one of our second to last agenda item to vote on that request.
I honestly don't remember why, but why didn't we have the 3-year-olds to begin with on the wraparound?
Because it was a brand new program and we wanted to keep working with our daycare providers. When I did a survey, there was an enormous amount of interest in school age care, in wraparound, but what we have found that there is not an enormous amount of interest in our 3-year-olds and our 4 and 5-year-olds as I had thought. But after this school year, our 4 and 5-year-olds, it's definitely a convenience factor, and the fact that our parents are starting to really like our program and are starting to finally hear about it. But that was simply why we didn't do the 3-year-olds, just to make sure that we didn't encroach on our home daycares too much. Are there any other questions?
All right, thank you, Macy.
Okay, thanks, guys.
We will vote on that later. All right, then we have our new Richland Area Grant Foundation presenters here tonight to the exciting news of awarding some money to some deserving recipients. You may come forward, please.
My name is Carla Christofferson, and I'm here at this moment, on behalf of the Richland Area Foundation. And I just want to start by introducing some of our members. Pam Gearing, Lee Mendenhall, and Kermit Shonra. We have a number, another 5, 6 people that weren't able to attend tonight, but these guys were nice enough to drive over for the photo op, and I thought what I would do is introduce each one of them, let them all speak a little bit. So it's up to you whether you want to remain standing, have a seat. You're coming back up in a little while. I am? You are. So on the screen and what was shared with the board is a list that the school is going to be receiving, but we have some other folks here tonight, and they're receiving at this meeting because what they do benefits our school. So while the checks will not go directly through our system like these will, they still benefit our kids. So let's start with our first grant recipient, Angie Aseth, Technology Director at NRHEG. Come on up, Angie. Angie requested some dollars for new live stream equipment. She's gonna tell you just a little bit about it, but our foundation was able to award $1,500 to this project. So if you can
Thank you
just
so much.
fill probably them in more than these guys, they're familiar with it.
Okay, so yes, the $1,500 will be put towards new live streaming equipment. We like to be mobile with our live streaming equipment because there's obviously different places we need to be, and between the two buildings is one of them. And to lug a big computer like that between two buildings is kind of tough. So we will be purchasing a laptop, a camera, and also some other peripherals to go with it that will make the live streaming much easier, much more mobile, and hopefully potentially be able to live stream more events and give our community more opportunities to view our live streams in that way. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah, and while you're here, our next grant goes to Angie Aseth, our tech director, for some projectors, and we were able to award $2,300 towards this project.
Awesome, thank you so much. So yes, the $2,300 will go towards projectors that need replacing within the district. We are 100% in all of our classrooms with projectors or display panels. And so this definitely helps, along with other resources that we access as well, to sustain that. And so this will help in replacing approximately 10 projectors that need replacing this summer. They're about 11, 12 years old. And so we're kind of at that point with them. So this definitely helps offset that cost. The teachers absolutely love their projectors, can't go without them. It's great for classroom instruction, it's great for engaging and conversation, and the teachers really do appreciate these projectors. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, and if you can stay around, we'll step out in the hallway when we're all done. Perfect. Okay, thanks. All right, our next recipient is Kelly De La Cruz of NRHEG Facts and FCCLA. She put in a request, and we were able to give $500 towards what I call a cricket machine, and I'll let you explain a little bit more on that subject.
Okay, so FCCLA is the Family Career Community Leaders of America, and so everyone's heard of FFA. We've had it around for a while, but we're kind of a different spin on that, and we're actually kind of like the sisters or brother-sister of FFA. We've been doing a lot together to work together. Because we're brand new, funding is kind of rough, and there's a lot of stuff that our kids want to do. We'll have regionals and state coming up next year, some other activities that we want to do. So we were looking into a way for our kids to raise money. Well, if anyone knows, you need money to raise money. And so the machine is actually a Silhouette. It's a lot like a Cricut. It allows us to take vinyl lettering and print any of the things that you see up here, any of the lettering, the t-shirts that you order, any of that kind of stuff, bumper stickers, wall signs, you name it, we can print it on that. We'll also be purchasing a heat press so that we can buy t-shirts and the students can actually use the equipment, design their own designs, and we can make the shirts. And then the heat press isn't like your Walmart heat press, it's an economy one, so the shirts are gonna last and it'll be something, plus it's super big right now. You know, the kids are all into that kind of stuff, and so we'll be able to hopefully do some vinyl cups, because I'm kind of tired of seeing all of these really expensive water bottles at the Lost and Found. I start putting names on some of these cups, but my kids just really appreciate it because it gives them the opportunity to take what you've given them and, you know, turn it over into something more. And so,
Excellent. So before you sit, if you can just step back here, because you don't know it, but I gotta bring it back up for something. Okay, next up, Susan Schaub of the Secondary Math Department. If you can come up. Susan requested money for new graphing calculators, and our foundation was able to support the bulk of that request, and so we were able to give $2,000. So I know we have the order ready to go, but I thought it was kind of interesting. You're getting 2 classroom sets?
They're called teacher packs of 10 calculators each, along with the charging machine, so the kids can, even the ones that aren't part of that pack, they can charge their calculators. It'll save us on batteries, things like that as well. So yes, we're gonna use these calculators. Our hope is to rent calculators to students that aren't able to buy calculators. It's hard on the students that don't get their own calculator. We have a few in class, but these they could rent and take home and use them all through the year, and it just would help them for testing and all kinds of things. So
Yeah,
it's
this
gonna
is huge, because it's about $135 per.
Yes, yeah,
That's a
so
lot
it's
for
getting
family.
harder and harder for kids and families to buy these calculators. So this will be a good start to our process of trying to rent these out. So
Excellent.
thank you so much. This
Yeah,
will be.
thank you, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Cynthia Gale, our secondary art teacher. She requested some dollars for a new digital camera, and while we weren't able to support the whole thing, we were able to give $1,000 towards that. So if you could just briefly tell who and how is gonna use it?
Well, I'd like to get a camera that we can just upload direct to the internet, so that's more economical, rather than having to buy all this extra stuff all the time. For the past couple of years, I've been having the students use their own camera for photography a lot, but that's not giving them the upscale of manipulating things like they could with a camera. So I would like them to learn both ways. Yes, they're good with their phone, but I really think they need to learn to do more professional photographs.
Great. All right, thank you. Next up, we have Deb Bentley, who is a secondary English teacher for us, but wears a lot of hats. So she put in a request also for a digital camera, I think primarily for the yearbook. And our foundation was able to support $550 of that.
Thank you. Yes, we're deeply grateful for this donation. Also deeply grateful to the NRHEG Star Eagle, who offered that they would pay about half the cost of a camera like this so that our students can learn stronger photography skills and take better photos at school events. And so the $550 is the full, thanks to the Star Eagle, it covers the full amount of purchasing a camera. A digital camera that students will use both for the sake of the yearbook, as a matter of fact, I think mostly for the sake of the yearbook, but also for the school newspaper, the NRHEG's Panther Press, which publishes about once a month in the Star Eagle. So this will open up a lot of opportunities for our students.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that request. Okay, I think that takes us through what you guys knew about. Now we do, like I said, have a few other folks here. In total, our foundation was able to give out $20,050 this year, so we feel really good about that. Two of the grants that we are not awarding tonight, we will be at the city council meeting next Monday. You guys remember that? Okay. We are also donating $1,200 towards a new scoop stretcher. Learned what that was with this request. And $5,000 towards the city of New Richland. They're upgrading their tornado warning sirens, which unfortunately we hear now and then. So next, back to who else we're giving tonight. Vanessa Jensen, if you can come up. Vanessa is a district manager with Junior Achievement. She requested money for the programming that works with K-5, and we were able to give $1,500 towards that program.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
So a little bit about how this grant will be used that Junior Achievement is receiving will be going into our K through 5 programming space with our JA programs. And so the 3 pathways that we really touch are financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and career and work readiness skills. And you know, we're really excited to have the opportunity to be invited and be part of your school and have programming that really teaches our next generation how to be financially responsible and really just try to embrace some of that mindset and skill set for entrepreneurship in the future. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there. Here's a fun little fact that I just learned today is that Junior Achievement, so I'm part of the Owatonna area, and this school system falls into the Owatonna territory. So JA North is kind of the governing district for our region overall, okay, and that's in St. Paul, We also have a JAUSA, which is national. They just received recognition for the nomination for the Nobel Peace Prize. So it's really exciting to be part of such strong character for a program and be able to bring that into your school.
Yeah,
So,
that's excellent.
so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jessica Rollins, I don't believe she was able
She's
to
not.
join us tonight. And this is why I'm gonna just tap back into you. So Jessica Rollins, I believe, is Executive Director,
At
if
Farm
that's her
America.
title, at Farm America. And she had requested, and we were able to award almost all of this. We were able to give $2,000 towards a program they put on called Ag Career Exploration Program for 7th and 8th graders. And our kids just were there last week or the week before, our 7th and 8th graders.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, we feel really good about being able to put $2,000 toward that program, and I'll let you just, if you can just give a little explanation on what you guys did that day.
Okay, so it actually, the fun thing was it started out about 4 years ago. I went to a farm to table for teachers at Farm America, and that is when Jessica hit me up. She's like, let's do this. Let's bring your 7th and 8th grade. Let's have a career day. And I was like, great. And then MCA testing came at like the same time that year. And so then we set it up for the following year, and then COVID hit. And so this is our first opportunity. And so it's really fun trying to get permission slips back from every 7th and 8th grader in the building. But we got it all together, and we took them for the day, and it was so much fun. So the new VR headsets that they have, the Oculus, you know, where the kids, they were doing welding. They were doing different scenarios in there. They were working this crane truck. Every kid got to use these. Every single one of them got to do the opportunity. They were doing sample soil testing. So they did chemical to see what was in our soil, and it was our local soil to see what we can plant around here and what we can't. We did some other stuff where they did some sales pitches on some different products and that. But it was 6 different stations. They spent the day rotating. The kids were never bored. It was just, and I mean, if you can take that many 7th and 8th graders and keep them on cue all day, and it was just, we had so much fun.
Yeah, you had approximately how many kids?
Oh,
Well,
was
we
it
sent
168 or something? All 7th and all 8th grade for the day we took them.
So we sent 3 school buses, and then after the fact, we're able to invoice Farm America, and they were able to raise enough money to cover our transportation costs also. But in that emailing process, they made a point to let us know that NRHEG, the kids were outstanding. And, you know, for their volunteers to pass that on, you guys did a fantastic job. So that's terrific. So anyway, thank you for speaking on that.
So I can just add to that. So as a district manager for junior achievement, I actually volunteered that day. That
Okay. Do you
our
have this? Did
students
you
were
get the
here.
same feeling about our kids?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
They were outstanding. And yeah, they also had the opportunity, like the station that I worked, it was the contamination.
The germ glow.
The germ glow. And what was really interesting and insightful for the students is to kind of understand how that cross-contamination piece works and how quickly it happens. And so, you know, they had an opportunity to learn that. There was a strawberry dissection, I believe that.
They took the DNA.
They took the DNA out. And yeah, so that was super exciting. The only other piece that I want to add is JA offers a program that a lot of other school districts took advantage of, but I think timing didn't work out for New Richland. But next year, if you want, we can bring in for those same students, JA It's My Future, and that talks about branding and, you know, kind of like the slogan of just do it. It really is a 6-week program for about 30 minutes each time. So,
Okay.
and then we did that egg slant, right? So because we knew we were going to Farm America, we partnered with them and brought in an egg volunteer to talk about career readiness and potential jobs out there.
Right. Great.
So,
All right. Thank you. Next we have Stacy Linneman with the Waseca Library System. I don't think I've seen Stacy. they requested $1,000 for new books at the New Richland Library, which if you ever step in there, you always see our students in there. I mean, it's used, so that is fantastic. That felt good to be able to support. Next, we have Larry Gearing of the New Richland Area Food Shelf. If you want to come up, and anybody you brought with, you know. Larry put in a request for our backpack program, and we were able to support that with $1,000.
Thank you. And we do have a couple of our members. Pam Gearing was over there, Gary Cordy, and we have Jean Grosstreit that sit on our board for the food shelf. What these funds will be going to, it'll be to help with us to finance the purchase of the products that we send over here, and also to New Richland for backpacks on the weekends for the kids, so that they have some food to eat. Those that are, how should I put this? Because we don't, the free or reduced meal services, when that comes back, whenever, they qualify for having the backpack program. And so this, we finance and deliver food over here, so that the social workers can work with those individuals and making sure that they have some food for the weekend, be it a 2-day weekend or a 3 or 4-day weekend, whatever it might be. So what we do, we purchase the stuff, and this year, and thanks to the principals and the superintendent, they allocated some space for the social workers to have, where we just bring the boxes of food over here, and they set it up as though it's a little store. And then they take the kids through this little store, and they pick up what they would like to have for the weekend. Before that, we always would pack it over in New Richland and bring it over here for the kids for the weekend. And there were some things that the kids did not like. And so the social workers thought that this might be a little bit beneficial for them, because they can come in here and pick what they would like to have for the weekend. And they make sure that they don't always take the sweetie stuff, but they take the entrees also and stuff, what the kids should really have instead of the sweet stuff. So this will be very helpful for us to start out for next year. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and finally, we have Lee Mendenhall, who, like I said, serves on our foundation, but he is also here on behalf of the New Richland Area Sportsman's Club. They put in a request to help fund an archery range they're starting, and we were able to support that with $500.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
It helps to be on the board, you know.
Yes, I know.
Make it short and sweet. We had, out at the club, we got an excellent pistol range, rifle range, shotgun range, and somebody said something about archery, and we got to digging into it and found out that 39% of the people hunt the white-tailed deer with a bow. And Rick Rugrode, out of New Richland, has got an archery shop in Waseca, and they got a program going. He's helping us line it up. We got the targets in. We're going to build the target holders tomorrow, and we're going to have it up and running.
That's
So,
excellent.
thank you. If you want to play Robin Hood, come out and pick one. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah. No, thank you. And that concludes our portion. So we'll step out, do a little photo shoot. You guys can continue, but I think we're taking.
Let's have a round of applause.
Thank you.
Really appreciate the generosity. Thank you.
Hey, this is that one, or you photography people?
And that will wrap up.
Is that this one?
Yes, right.
Any board member comments?
Well, when I was senator, the group before I had before.
I just wanted to comment on the elementary concert. It was wonderful. It was very well run, and organized, and the kids just were delightful to listen to. It was nice. It was really nice.
I got one thing. Brad got brought up last month, which I wasn't here, but the Costa Rica trip. I want to thank Mrs. Olson and her chaperones for providing a wonderful trip for those kids. They wish they could go back. They had so much fun. And then they hit Miami and kind of nose bombed. But thank for her, the chaperones, I think Mr. Bundy might have been part of it, Mr. Myhock, for jumping in and getting the kids home.
Reminder, next regular meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 20th in New Richland at 6:30 p.m. Moving into the consent agenda. Mr. Myhock.
A regular statement that goes along with the consent agenda that school board members have been provided with the background information for all items listed on the consent agenda. These items will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. If a board member does want to discuss any item, we'll pull that from the consent agenda and we'll vote on that separately. As another time for public record, the policies, the 4 policies included in this month's consent agenda are recommended language changes from MSBA and do not change the content of the policy as a whole. I would, as always, appreciate and will recognize the donations that are included in this section. We have a $147 donation from the NRHEG PTO for kindergarten t-shirts. We have a $250 donation from the New Richland Firemen for our life skills class. The Star Eagle Publications, as Ms. Bentley alluded to, $450 donation for the camera. And the Arcadian Bank donated 150 gift vouchers or restaurant vouchers for our staff, the entire staff in the district, for teacher appreciation and really kind of school appreciation week. So with great appreciation, we'll accept those donations. The cash value on the ones listed equaled $847, bringing us close to $97,000 or $96,789.72 in donations this year. So with great appreciation, we include that in our consent agenda. I would like to recognize and special thank you to Ginger Raymond for her years of service and congratulate her on her retirement. And with that, then I ask the board to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So move.
Second. Moved by Mr. Mueller, seconded by Mr. Kreniak to approve the consent agenda items as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving into reports, recommended actions. We've got some workforce stuff there, Mr. Myhock.
Yeah, we have a MOU with our teacher agreement. We'll also talk about the insurance increase and the bid that we received on our insurance, but just a quick, as you remember, our PEEP program had a massive 50% increase. We're going to ask for the approval of a new carrier or a new policy in just a few moments, but as part of this large increase that was seen, we have made available or asking you to recommend a way to address the increase on these premiums for the 22-23 school year only. And again, that would be year 2 of the contract, but for the 22-23 school year, teachers will be able to apply the amount, the contracted monies that are dedicated to their VIVA or HSA, apply that towards the cost of the premiums. Again, this is no extra money, no additional cost to the district. It's obviously very beneficial for the teachers to take that money and the premiums that they know that cost. That money can be used for that, and then once medical bills come in, there's obviously less money going to be in their HSA or VIVA, but that's kind of the unknown. It doesn't always have to accumulate either. So I would recommend that the board accept and approve this MOU between admin, NRHEG, and the NRHEG Public Schools.
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU for the teacher agreement.
Motion made by Mr. Rouse, Plainville to accept and approve the MOU between admin, NRHEG, and NRHEG Public Schools. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We've got a MOU on Fernbrook Family Center.
Yeah, Fernbrook Family Center for a number of years. We've entered into this agreement with them, and again, we'll go through this every year. The school-linked mental health grant runs through July 1st of this year until June 30th of next year. The intent of the agreement is just to have this partnership supporting a co-located clinical interventions with Fernbrook and obviously our school buildings. Like I said, we've had this in place for a number of years, and I'm asking that you approve the MOU between our district and Fernbrook.
I have a question, is it supposed to be 2022 and 2023? Because in my minutes it says 2021, 2022.
Yes, it should be July 1st of 22 to June 30th of 2023.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
I move that we approve the MOU for Fernbrook Family Center.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Maloney, seconded by Mr. Rouse to accept and approve the MOU between NRHEG District and Fernbrook. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving into the health insurance bid.
Just to finalize what we've been working on, and again, special kudos to Justin Krieger, our insurance broker, and Corrine Schuler, our payroll and benefits person, that with the large increase that we saw from PEEP, that Justin was able to secure a bid from Blue Cross Blue Shield that's not as steep, but it's still a hefty increase, and obviously that's why we were looking at the MOU for the Viva money, but in the range of 25 to 40% increase rather than 50%. And actually one of the options available to staff is a 2% decrease, but there's strings attached to that sort of policy that for some it will work out just fine. For others, they can't necessarily abide by that. So, it's an increase, there's still no doubt about that, but it's not as bad as the PEEP increase. And so I'm recommending that the board accepts and approve the recommendation of the NRHEG Insurance Committee with its recommendation to change health insurance coverage to Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I move we change health insurance to Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Shaynock, seconded by Mr. Mueller to accept and approve the recommendation of NRHEG's Insurance Committee with its recommendation to change health insurance coverage to Blue Cross Blue Shield. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Looking at the graduation class of 2022.
You have been presented with a list of names, these students' names of the senior class, these names of students who are still in the process of completing the requirements with hope of completing them and moving on to the graduating class. So I recommend to the board to accept the list of students that are on track to graduate at our upcoming commencement ceremony.
Also move.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Shaynock, seconded by Mr. Rouse to accept the list of students, the graduation list at the upcoming commencement ceremony. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the school age care proposal.
This one's tying back to Macy's presentation. Again, Macy came presented and requested to the board to extend, and correct me on some of this, that extend the age range. The 4 to 5 and the Bridges K was in place to extend that to include families of students who are 3 years old and enrolled in our Panther preschool opportunity to allow them to register for our SAC if they desire. So my recommendation for the board is to approve that proposal to extend the age range as explained by Macy in her presentation.
I move to approve the school age care proposal by Mrs. Whiteside.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Maloney, seconded by Mr. Routh to approve the proposal to extend the age range as explained by Mrs. Whiteside for the school age care program. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And it looks like we've got an MSHSL visual arts proposal.
This is an exciting one. Ms. Gale has, she was still here. Ms. Gale has made a proposal or talked to, did I just see her like 2 seconds ago?
I'll peek out there, I think she took off.
She might have been getting her photo taken.
Okay. Ms. Gale has been talking to Mr. Stork for a couple of years just on the State High School League's Visual Arts Program, and we're obviously very familiar with athletics and fine arts that the State High School oversees, but they also have a visual arts. And so Mr. Stork had asked Ms. Gale to submit some sort of proposal to get a feel for what this really entails. We're given those details, pretty brief details on that, and if the board does approve this recommendation, we'll go in and finalize the costs and whatnot, but again, just a fantastic opportunity for our students. At the initial onset or the initial look at this, we're talking probably about $2,000 of our investment for our students to be in the State High School League Visual Arts Program. And so I would encourage the board to approve the NRHEG High School to enroll in the State High School League Visual Arts Program.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
The fee for this isn't, we're not already paid for something like this through our MSHSL dues?
Yeah, kind of. The general dues does cover some of this, but if we do then kind of the menu, the a la carte menu, we pick this and we pick that, some additional costs come up. Again, it's very minimal. Probably the next discussion that will take place again on this is, is there activity fees for the students? It's completely, excuse the pun, a different ballgame than a sports. That there's one kind of event, which would be a sectional tournament or a sectional display, and then the students can move on to a state competition or a state contest. And so it's completely different in many different aspects, but there is some cost that whatever our fees right now are $100 or $90 or a cap of $350. We're not talking that type of ball, that type of amount. We're talking maybe a $10 registration fee. So it's very minimal. But so that's a very long answer to yes, we're covered, but we're adding this to our plate.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Mueller, seconded by Ms. Maloney to approve the NRHEG High School to enroll in the MSHSL Visual Arts Program. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. With that,